Welcome to Art Making at Home with the Rollins Museum of Art. I'm Alana Nagy. For today's activity, we'll be creating invisible art inspired by artist MARTÍ CORMAND.
For today's activity, you will need watercolor paper, a white crayon, watercolors, a paintbrush, and a cup of water. But before we get started, let's learn about our featured artist for today, MARTÍ CORMAND. MARTÍ CORMAND was born in 1970 in Barcelona, Spain. The drawing we'll be looking at today is part of CORMAND's series titled Formalizing Their Concept. The idea behind this series is that CORMAND is making drawings of artworks that are made to be in-person experiences, like performance artworks. Performance art is art that is created through actions by the artist and/or other people participating in these actions. This drawing focuses on a performance artwork that began in 1970 by the Brazilian artist Cildo Meireles, titled Insertions into Ideological Circuits, Coca-Cola Project. In 1964, a military group took over the government of Brazil by force. Through the next 21 years, this military government heavily controlled free speech in Brazil and put anyone who disagreed with them in prison or kicked them out of the country. In 1970, Meireles began the Coca-Cola Project as a response to both the restrictive military dictatorship and the United States government involvement in its takeover, using Coca-Cola as a symbol. At the time, Coke was sold in glass bottles, and the company encouraged people to return their empty bottles to the factories where they could be cleaned and refilled to be sold again. Cildo Meireles used this system to his advantage, printing political statements in white on the bottles so that the words would be invisible when the bottle was empty and visible when it was filled with soda. Meireles' use of invisible messages through the Coca-Cola recycling program allowed him to spread words of protest far and wide without being caught or punished. Artist MARTÍ CORMAND used the Coca-Cola Project to spread a secret message. Think of a message or a topic that's important to you that you would want to put on a protest sign, like this artwork titled Protesters. Now that we learned a little bit more about MARTÍ CORMAND and Cildo Meireles, let's take a moment to think like an artist. Cildo Meireles used his art to speak out against the harsh government in his country. What issue in our world today do you think needs to be spoken about? What other ways can you use art to protest? Make a list of images, symbols, or phrases that you could use in your artwork. Here's an example of today's activity, where we'll be creating invisible artworks inspired by MARTÍ CORMAND and Cildo Meireles. To start this activity, get one sheet of watercolor paper and a white crayon. Think about a statement that you want to share with the world. You're going to use white crayon to write it down on your piece of paper. Add images, designs, and any other surprising details with the white crayon. If you can't see what you're writing or drawing since it's white crayon on white paper, try holding the paper up to the light at an angle. The wax of the crayon will be shiny against the matte paper. Now, use your watercolors to paint over the entire piece of paper. The watercolor paint won't stick to the waxy crayon, so your invisible message will appear. Get creative and use as many different colors as you want. If you're doing this activity with a partner, friend, or family member, swap your papers with your messages on it and use the watercolors to reveal each other's secret messages.
Thanks for joining me today to create invisible artworks inspired by artist Martí Cormand. Check out our other art making at home videos. Happy creating!
Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, or visit us online at rollins.edu/RMA to see all of our K-12 and educational programs.